there's three paths forward for the industry. One path is status quo. We continue to twist in the wind while the SEC and CFTC pursue very slow enforcement actions against crypto scammers. And the problem with those actions is if you sue someone civilly and they're counterfeiting money, then they could just keep counterfeiting money to defend, and it takes 4 years before you get a result, right? That's one path. That has been the status quo for the past 2 years. And that's not a good path, because the same crypto scammers that are using counterfeit money to defend in civil court are using counterfeit money to lobby in DC and try to corrupt the politicians and the political process and the laws. That was where we were before FTX's meltdown. I don't think we're going to stay in that status quo situation, because I think people realize there's a lot of egg on their face, and they can't afford to take another 2 to 4 years or 8 years to clean up the industry. So that means we've been kicked out of the status quo to either the left path or the right path. The left path is very regressive. We're going to, I'm going to issue a memo, everything with an ICO, everything with a pre-mine, everything with a controlling foundation, everything that looks like a security, it all has to be shut down. And then that's carnage. 99.9% of the industry dies. That's like the asteroid smacking into the Earth 80 million years ago, and that'll just wipe out everything other than Bitcoin, right? Right. And by the way, that model is like institutional grade investors buy Bitcoin with cash from traditional banks. That's via registered traders. That's how MicroStrategy spent $4 billion to buy Bitcoin. We did it that way. That is the regressive path forward. And the progressive path forward, and this is an opportunity, Archie, and there's probably there's one person in the industry that has the ability to do this, and that would be the chair of the SEC, the single pivotal most powerful person in the crypto industry right now. The chair of the SEC has the power to say, I'm going to give you a registration path for digital commodities. I'm going to give you a registration path for digital currencies. I'm going to give you a registration path for digital securities, and I'm going to give you a registration path for digital tokens. I'm going to define, this is what they are. You've got, this is how you apply. If you're going to be, and I'm going to allow digital exchanges to operate trading these digital assets. If that happens, there is a path for 100,000 different digital assets, over a decade from now, not now, but you would have 100 assets, then 1,000 assets, then 10,000 assets, then 100,000 digital assets. They would be trading on 24/7, 365 digital exchanges that kind of look like Binance or look like Coinbase, but especially they look like Binance. I mean, Binance is kind of like doing everything everywhere in the world. And so the exchange would look like that, but they would have to be regulated, and they'd have to be transparent. And those exchanges would have to, in essence, come public in the United States, disclose all their assets, all their liabilities, all their conflicts of interest. And then they'd probably have to divest themselves of their conflict of interest. Like you can't trade against your customers, right? You can't issue your own security and then trade your